Every generation of blockchain has a moment, a turning point when the question shifts from what can we build to how fast can we make it real. That's the moment we're in now. And that's where Say comes in. Because in a world where milliseconds define markets, speed isn't just an advantage, it's survival. Say was born out of a truth that many people in crypto didn't want to admit. Most blockchains were never built for trading. They were built for general purpose computation. Flexible, yes, but too slow, too clunky, too expensive when it came to the one thing that truly drives blockchain adoption: exchange, trading, swapping, moving value at lightning speed. Every DeFi app, every NFT marketplace, every on-chain game, at its core, depends on the same thing: how fast you can match one action to another. And that's exactly the problem Say was built to solve. From the beginning, Say wasn't just another layer 1. It was a specialized blockchain, a layer 1 built for trading itself. Where Ethereum aimed to be the world's computer, Say aimed to be the world's exchange engine. It's a bold idea, and one that reflects how far the crypto world has evolved. We don't just need blockchains that can execute smart contracts. We need blockchains that can handle the real-time, high-volume demands of modern markets without breaking. And that's what Say set out to do: to combine the performance of centralized exchanges with the trust of decentralized systems. Its founders, Jeff Feng and Jayendra Jog, came from traditional finance and engineering backgrounds. They saw that even as crypto markets grew, the underlying infrastructure still looked fragile, full of bottlenecks, delays, and inefficiencies. So they decided to start over, not by building another app, but by rebuilding the very foundation trading runs on. The result was Say, a blockchain optimized at every layer for performance. Where most blockchains treat trading as one use case among many, Say treats it as its entire reason for existing. It uses an optimized consensus mechanism and parallelized execution system that allows it to finalize transactions in 300 milliseconds, faster than the blink of an eye. And that's not marketing fluff, that's physics applied to finance. But what makes Say powerful isn't just speed, it's precision. Every millisecond matters, because behind every trade is a human being, a decision, a moment of risk and opportunity. And Say was built to make those moments seamless, fair, and transparent. It's not just about giving traders an edge, it's about giving everyone, developers, builders, and users, an infrastructure that doesn't limit what's possible. Because speed isn't about racing ahead, it's about removing friction, the invisible drag that slows innovation down. Say is what happens when blockchain stops trying to imitate the old world and starts outperforming it. It's a network built for a new kind of market, one where finance, gaming, and AI-driven trading all converge in real time. Where latency isn't a technical metric, it's the difference between thriving and falling behind. And as the next era of decentralized applications emerges, Say isn't asking for attention. It's quietly doing what most blockchains can't: delivering performance without compromise. In this video, we'll explore how Say came to be, the technology that powers its speed, the challenges it faces, and the future it's racing toward. A world where decentralization finally moves at the speed of demand. Because Say isn't just fast. It's a glimpse of what happens when blockchain meets real performance. The story of Say begins with frustration, the kind that comes from seeing how much potential a technology has and how often it's wasted by poor design. In the early years of crypto, everything was slow. Transactions took minutes to settle. Fees spiked with every surge in activity, and the experience of trading, something that should feel instant, often felt like waiting in line at a broken ATM. If you tried to trade on a decentralized exchange during those times, you remember the pain. Orders lagged, confirmations failed, slippage ate your profits. The dream of a fair, open, decentralized market was held back by something embarrassingly simple: latency. That was the world Jeff Feng and Jayendra Jog saw when they decided to build Say. Jeff came from a background in finance and tech, someone who understood how traditional markets worked down to their microsecond precision. Jayendra, a seasoned engineer, had spent years building distributed systems and saw how even the smallest inefficiencies could cripple performance. Together, they shared a realization: the future of finance won't be decided by ideology. It'll be decided by performance. If decentralized systems were ever going to compete with centralized exchanges, they couldn't just be trustless. They had to be faster, more reliable, and built with purpose. So in 2022, they founded Say Labs with one mission: to design the first blockchain specifically optimized for trading and exchange. While other chains chased generalization, trying to host everything from games to DeFi to NFTs on one platform, Say focused. It wasn't built to do everything, it was built to do one thing perfectly. That focus became its superpower. Instead of building on top of Ethereum or Solana, Say started from scratch, constructing a layer 1 blockchain that could handle market-level performance natively. That meant rethinking everything, from consensus algorithms and transaction ordering to parallel processing and block finalization. Say's architecture was designed for determinism and fairness, two things every trader cares about, but most blockchains can't guarantee. In traditional blockchains, transactions are ordered in ways that often give miners or validators unfair advantages, a problem known as MEV, maximal extractable value. It allows insiders to front-run trades and profit off users. Say's team decided that had to end, so they built a system that prioritizes fair ordering and low latency, ensuring every participant competes on equal ground. They also introduced features like parallelized transaction processing, allowing multiple trades to execute simultaneously without clogging the network. It sounds technical, but the result is simple: speed without chaos. And when Say launched its mainnet, it immediately proved what was possible. It became the fastest Layer 1 blockchain in the world, finalizing blocks in just 300 milliseconds. To put that in perspective, that's faster than the average blink, faster than a heartbeat, faster than most centralized exchanges can confirm trades. But the speed was only part of the story. The real vision behind Say wasn't just to make trading faster, it was to make it universal. To create a base layer that any decentralized exchange, NFT marketplace, prediction market, or gaming economy could plug into and operate at web speed. Because for Say, trading isn't just financial, it's the basic form of interaction in every digital ecosystem. Every swap, every bid, every action in a market-based world is a trade. So Say wasn't built just for traders. It was built for everyone who moves value. And that idea, that every digital interaction could one day be settled in milliseconds, is what sets Say apart from the rest. But building a blockchain optimized for performance is one thing. Keeping it secure, fair, and decentralized while doing it, that's another challenge entirely. And that's where Say's technology truly begins to show its depth. To understand why Say is different, you have to start with what it refuses to compromise on. Because in crypto, speed often comes at a cost, and that cost is usually trust. Most blockchains that try to be fast cut corners, they reduce decentralization, they centralize validation, or they settle for eventual finality instead of true finality. That means your transaction might look confirmed now, but in reality it can still be reversed later. Say doesn't play that game. It was designed from the ground up to be fast, fair, and final. At its heart lies a blend of advanced engineering and thoughtful restraint. Instead of trying to reinvent everything, Say takes the best parts of modern blockchain design and optimizes them like an engineer tuning a Formula One car for peak performance. Let's start with its engine, the Twin Turbo Consensus. It's a customized version of the Tendermint consensus, used in the Cosmos ecosystem, but rebuilt for speed and predictability. While most blockchains finalize blocks in 1 to several seconds, Say does it in 300 milliseconds. It's not magic, and it's math and architecture. Say's consensus design reduces bottlenecks by running certain parts of the validation process in parallel, meaning validators can confirm and propose blocks simultaneously instead of waiting in sequence. This parallelism unlocks throughput that feels instant, without compromising consistency. Then comes intelligent block propagation, a feature that ensures every validator receives blocks at nearly the same time, eliminating the lags that often lead to inefficiencies or front-running opportunities. And that brings us to one of Say's greatest innovations: fair ordering. In traditional blockchains, especially those built for DeFi, traders often face manipulation from something called MEV, maximal extractable value. It's when miners or validators can reorder transactions to benefit themselves, for example, by seeing your trade and sneaking one in right before it. It's subtle, invisible, and deeply unfair. Say decided that shouldn't exist. So they built a frequent batch auction system that processes all transactions arriving in the same block at once, neutralizing the advantage of speed or proximity. Everyone in the batch gets equal treatment. That means no front-running, no sandwich attacks, just a level playing field for all participants. This fairness isn't just about ethics, it's about stability. Because when traders know the system won't work against them, they bring liquidity. And when liquidity comes, innovation follows. But Say doesn't stop there. It also uses parallelized transaction execution, meaning multiple smart contracts can run at the same time, something Ethereum and even Solana struggle with at scale. This gives Say the rare combination of speed and composability, allowing it to handle thousands of concurrent actions without slowing down. Then there's instant finality. Once a block is confirmed, it's done. No waiting for confirmations, no reorgs, no uncertainty. That's not just good for traders, it's essential for institutional applications, gaming economies, and real-time analytics. Underneath all this, Say runs on a modular architecture built on the Cosmos SDK, giving it the flexibility to evolve without breaking its foundations. It can easily connect to other ecosystems through inter-blockchain communication, IBC, bridging assets and liquidity seamlessly across networks. In simple terms, Say took the lessons from the past decade of blockchain and re-engineered them for a world that demands speed without losing fairness. Because true innovation doesn't come from breaking the rules. It comes from building better ones. And that's what Say's architecture represents. A system that doesn't just process transactions faster, but one that treats every participant fairly while doing it. But even with groundbreaking technology, no blockchain survives without people using it. The next question isn't how Say works. It's who it's working for and why they're building on it. If technology is the heartbeat of Say, then its ecosystem is the body that brings it to life. Because speed means nothing if no one's using it. And Say understood that from day one. When Say launched, it didn't just want to attract users. It wanted to attract builders, the developers, creators, and innovators who would use its performance to create real-world applications that couldn't exist anywhere else. That's why Say positioned itself not as a competitor to other blockchains, but as a foundation layer for the next wave of DeFi, gaming, and AI-driven economies. The team's thinking was simple. If you give developers the fastest, fairest, and most composable Layer 1 blockchain, they'll build the kind of apps that define an era. And that's exactly what started to happen. Within months, Say became home to a thriving ecosystem of decentralized exchanges, prediction markets, NFT platforms, and algorithmic trading tools, all benefiting from its near-zero latency. Projects like Vortex Protocol, Paloma, Kujira integrations, and various community-driven DEXs began using Say's infrastructure to execute high-speed swaps and market operations that simply couldn't perform the same way on Ethereum or Solana. Because Say isn't just fast, it's predictably fast. Developers can design complex systems knowing that every action will settle in less than a second, every time. That kind of reliability changes how people build. It's why algorithmic traders, the kind who rely on milliseconds to capture market inefficiencies, have begun exploring Say as a decentralized alternative to centralized exchanges. It's also why gaming developers are drawn to it, because the same speed that powers financial trading also makes real-time, on-chain gaming experiences actually playable. But Say's ecosystem goes beyond performance. It's powered by Cosmos interoperability, which means it can easily communicate with other blockchains through the IBC protocol. That allows liquidity to flow freely between Say and other networks like Osmosis, Axelar, and Cosmos Hub, creating a shared financial layer across ecosystems. At the center of this growth is the Say Foundation, which supports developers through grants, hackathons, and incubation programs. They're not just funding projects, they're strategically building an economy where every participant benefits from Say's infrastructure. There's also a deeper cultural shift happening inside Say's community. Unlike other ecosystems that rely heavily on hype or speculation, Say's community is made up of builders and users who value performance over promises. They're engineers, market makers, data scientists. People who see Say not as a trend, but as a tool. And that's what gives Say real staying power. Because hype fades, but utility compounds. With each new project that launches on Say, with every integration that connects to the Cosmos network, the ecosystem becomes stronger, more interconnected, more liquid, and more alive. The Say Labs team has also been working closely with institutional partners, helping bridge the gap between traditional finance and on-chain infrastructure. Their goal is not to replace existing systems, but to upgrade them. To give institutions a blockchain that feels as fast and compliant as the systems they already use, but with the transparency and security of decentralization. And in doing so, Say isn't just growing an ecosystem. It's creating a new standard for what performance in Web3 should feel like. But with every breakthrough, there's always resistance. And Say's path forward isn't without challenges. Scalability, competition, and evolving regulations still test the limits of what it can achieve. The question now is, can Say keep its promise of unmatched speed and fairness while the rest of the crypto world races to catch up? That's where the next part of the story begins. Every innovation reaches a point where the question shifts from, can it work, to can it last? That's the stage Say has entered. Its technology is sound, its speed is unmatched, and its ecosystem is growing fast. But in the world of crypto, strength isn't just about performance. It's about endurance. Because even the fastest chain can stumble if it can't evolve. One of Say's biggest challenges lies in expectation. When you build the fastest Layer 1 blockchain in the world, people expect perfection, zero downtime, instant finality, infinite scalability. But in reality, maintaining that level of performance requires constant optimization and sometimes difficult trade-offs. The first of those trade-offs is decentralization versus control. Say's architecture is built for precision and fairness. But as with any highly tuned system, too much decentralization can create friction. If too many validators join too quickly, latency can rise. If too few participate, control becomes concentrated. Finding that balance between efficiency and openness will define how Say matures over time. Another challenge comes from competition. Say isn't the only blockchain chasing speed. Networks like Solana, Aptos, and Sui are all building high-performance environments, each with their own strengths and philosophies. But Say's advantage lies not in claiming to be faster, it lies in staying more consistent. It isn't trying to process 1 million transactions per second just for headlines. It's trying to deliver the same 300 messages finality for every user, every time, without fail. That reliability is its real edge, but maintaining it requires vigilance. Then there's regulation, the quiet shadow hanging over every serious blockchain project. As Say works to attract institutional partners and trading platforms, it must navigate compliance, jurisdictional policies, and data protection laws that are still being written. Its success depends on staying adaptable enough to comply without compromising its core values of openness and fairness. Beyond that, Say faces the universal challenge of any ecosystem, sustainability. Can it continue to attract builders once the initial excitement fades? Can its tokenomics remain fair, predictable, and rewarding for those who secure the network? And most importantly, can it keep scaling without losing what makes it unique? The Say team seems to understand these questions deeply. Their approach so far has been methodical. Evolve, but don't rush. They've already begun exploring enhancements in parallel execution, cross-chain liquidity, and AI-assisted infrastructure, ensuring that Say doesn't just keep up with the Web3 future, it helps define it. And while technology is the engine, it's the community that will keep Say alive. From developers in the Cosmos ecosystem to traders who rely on Say's low-latency environment, everyone who builds here contributes to a growing sense of purpose. That blockchain doesn't have to be slow or unfair or broken by design, because Say's biggest challenge isn't technical, it's philosophical. It's about convincing the world that decentralization and high performance can coexist, that we don't have to choose between fairness and speed. That idea, if Say can sustain it, could reshape how people think about blockchain entirely. Because what began as a mission to fix latency might end as a blueprint for how the Internet of Value should actually work. And as Say looks toward its next chapter, integrating deeper into Cosmos, expanding its ecosystem, and reaching new levels of throughput, one truth becomes clear. Speed was just the beginning. Now, Say has to prove that speed with integrity can truly last. Because history doesn't remember who moved first. It remembers who kept moving when everyone else stopped. In every era of innovation, there comes a moment when performance meets principle, when the pursuit of speed collides with the need for fairness. That's where Say stands today. Because Say isn't just another blockchain project trying to prove it can go faster, it's a statement. A quiet rebellion against the limits we've come to accept. For years, people have said decentralization has to be slow, that fairness has to come at the cost of performance, that if you want security, you have to sacrifice usability. Say exists to prove those assumptions wrong. It's a system built on the belief that efficiency and ethics don't have to be opposites, that technology can be designed to serve people without exploiting them, and that fairness doesn't have to mean waiting in line. When you look at what Say has achieved, sub-second finality, predictable performance, fair transaction ordering, it's easy to see it as just an engineering success. But if you look deeper, you'll notice something else. It's a reflection of how far the blockchain movement has come. In the early days, crypto was about ideology, decentralization at any cost. Then came the age of experimentation, new chains, new protocols, endless innovation. Now we're entering the age of refinement, where builders like Say are taking everything learned from a decade of chaos and turning it into something stable, usable, and real. And that's what makes Say so significant. It's not trying to create hype, it's trying to create infrastructure that lasts. It reminds us that the next era of Web3 won't be won by whoever shouts the loudest, but by whoever builds the systems that quietly power everything behind the scenes. Systems that work so well, you stop noticing them. That's Say's vision, a blockchain that disappears into the background of your digital life. Instant, invisible, reliable. The kind of technology that doesn't just impress developers, but actually empowers people. Because when you remove friction, you remove barriers. And when you remove barriers, you make participation possible for everyone. That's the deeper meaning of Say. It's not about milliseconds, and it's about access. When a blockchain becomes fast enough, cheap enough, and fair enough, it stops being a playground for the few and becomes a foundation for the many. Suddenly, on-chain trading isn't just for experts. It's for creators, gamers, artists, small investors, even AI agents that move value autonomously. That's the world Say is helping build. One where the market becomes truly open, not just in ideology, but in experience. And in a time when financial systems are still slow, centralized, and unequal, that's more than a technical achievement. That's a moral one. Because the future of finance, the real one, won't belong to whoever controls it. It'll belong to whoever connects it. And Say is building that connection as between speed and trust, code and humanity, individual ambition and collective progress. It's easy to look at Say as just a blockchain built for traders. But in reality, it's built for something much larger, a world where fairness moves as fast as opportunity. So as this story continues, as Say evolves, scales, and inspires a new generation of builders, remember that what you're watching isn't just another step in blockchain history. It's part of a much older story, one that began the first time humanity asked how we could move faster without losing our way. And in that story, Say is one of the answers. Because it doesn't just chase speed, it redefines what it means to move forward, fairly.